What I'd like to get into, because I don't have a whole lot of time to talk about some of this stuff, is we all have problems with Drupal, but who feels like it's hard to get back or don't know how to actually go in and change things? Okay. The truth is, there are a lot of people who want to hear it, but sometimes there is some frustration. The first time I went into, do you guys know what the IRC rooms are? It's basically a set of chat room. We have a design one. That's all Drupal designers and theming stuff where we talk about all kinds of, not how to do themes, but we just talk about stuff around design. But the first time I went into Pound Drupal, I got kicked out and yelled at. All right?
I did too.
Yeah. So there are some people out there who, they're like that. They're not always the nicest people, but I found that everywhere. You know, I worked for big corporations. There were some real dicks there. You know, when I was in college, there were some people that, so we find some of those things. So, while in some cases you run into barriers, and some people will seem like barriers, there are a lot more people who really want good theming and design, and they want to hear the voice of that. They want you guys to speak up. They're asking for it. They're saying, where are these people, and how do we get them to speak up? But they, you know, they live in, they go into their basement with the lights turned down low, and they sit around their 3 30-inch monitors, and they've got, it looks like the Matrix code coming across, and they say, well, I don't know where to find these people. Because they're not around that culture and that type of person, so, but they want to. The Drupal community wants your input. So let's start with a couple of things. There's something, if you go into your Drupal.org account and you go to edit your settings, you're going to have some blocks you can choose from. And maybe we need to end up with a design block eventually, which sounds really cool. There's the contributor links. I don't think you guys would care about the developer links so much, but if you check the contributor link box and you save that, you end up with something that looks like this on your right sidebar. You see community initiatives, queues, these are Drupal 7. Play patch bingo, you guys wouldn't care about that. Most of the stuff underneath that you wouldn't care, but these 2 top things I want to touch on. There's something in Drupal called community initiatives, and then there's the issue queue, which is kind of like a forum where all of this stuff takes place. It really is like a forum with a bunch of extra features bolted on. So it's easy to navigate, and it's designed to give lots of my opinion and what I think and why. So let's look at the community initiatives. If you follow that link, the top one on the right there called community initiatives, you come to a page like this. And it's a lot longer than this, but there's a lot of different initiatives going on in the Drupal world. One of them is Drupal core. There's the Drupal.org redesign. There's documentation. There's just different areas. I would actually think that a community initiative should probably be Design4Drupal. To get up there to describe information and help get more people involved. And that's something we can add here or slightly after. We can do that today. But if you follow the core one, you basically come to, here's a list of, you know, how can I add my own? And it tells you, but there's a list of different areas that people are working in. And you see there's one called design and theming. And this is set up for, here is the initiatives, the types of things we're going to do. We have a Java, I've been working a lot in the JavaScript one, and we're redefining the way we do JavaScript. And it's a place for people to point out issues, to say what they think, to point to blog posts. If you see what's in the design and theming one right now, it's taken from a blog post. And you see, we've got different issues that are being worked on, and the ones with the line through them, those are done, those are closed. These are things that have been implemented in Drupal 7. So there's basically a list here. Now, the idea is this page is editable by anybody who has a Drupal.org account. So any of you guys who want to go in and say, let's think about something else like this, you can put it on there. If you want to point to a blog post of a good idea, you can put it on here.
What note is this?
What note? I have no idea what note it is. I always get to it through clicking links, and then I bookmark it. So contributor links, Drupal core initiatives, the first one. Design and theming. You come to the design and theming page, bookmark it. It has an actual path. You don't need to know the node if you can remember that.
/community-initiatives.
Yeah, that'll get you to the community initiatives. And then like 10 levels deep or 20 levels deep, you'll find this page. But all the rest of us, remember, all the community initiatives have to do this. And if you guys have a better idea on how to architect this information-wise, please speak up. Please. So that's this, and this is kind of one rallying area for this type stuff. And we want to hear your input, so please edit it, put your 2 cents in. But the real area where all Drupal stuff happens is in the issue queues. This is where stuff gets done. It's where it gets changed. It's where there's opportunity of stuff going on that you can say, that really sucks. Maybe this way's better. That's one thing about the issues that I'll point out It's just to go in and say, this is cool, or this sucks. We really want more descriptive feedback. You know, maybe this icon set doesn't mesh with everything else, use this one. Or maybe the positioning of this should be over here instead of over here because of the visual interface and the way people look at it. Maybe the HTML is crap would be something, but here's better HTML. And you know, in the issue queues you'll find things like patches and stuff. Even if you just want to in the comment area, put in the HTML you think should be better, somebody can do something with that. A developer can say, okay, now I know what to do better. You know, because everybody can contribute. And that's kind of the beauty of this whole thing. Every single person can contribute. The last version of Drupal had over 700 people contribute and give their voice in some way. And it's people who do crazy coding like Earl Miles who wrote views, down to people who just had one good idea and they talked to it and they got it in. So there's a whole spectrum and everybody has a voice. So there are two places to get to the issues. First, you can get to on the right here, or Drupal, just like every other theme and module, has a project page. Drupal.org/project/Drupal. And just like every other project page, you're going to see, you know, the maintainers, you're going to see all the issues, you can get right to the issue queues, you can do searches, stuff like that. Just like anything else, it's got its own project page, it's using the same features everything else is. So you can get to the issues there. But this is like, I clicked on Drupal issues and this is what came up. And this is kind of like a form of issues. And you just got a listing up here. The different color codes tell you the different states they're in. Like red means it needs work, and yellow means it needs review, and green means it's been fixed. And anything that's fixed after 2 weeks just disappears, so you don't have to worry about it. But this is kind of the issue queue. And well, this seems quite daunting because there's a lot of them. There are definitely a lot of issues. So first, we'll get to navigating them because once you learn how to navigate it, it's pretty easy. But let's talk about adding an issue. In the top left, it says create a new issue. Okay? You come in and you don't end up in the forum. They want to know what version of Drupal. Component. Component will be, is it the comment module? Is it theming? Is it JavaScript? Just something more descriptive. So that way, you know, if you found something crazy with the JavaScript that you have a problem with, or something in the theme system, which is what a lot of you will probably end up putting in, you choose theme system, somebody who works on the theme system will check those regularly, and they'll see that yours is in there, and they'll comment on it, they'll read up on it, they'll respond to it, because in all of these areas, there are developers who are working on it and following the new stuff that comes in. And you know, they want to ask, what's a category of it? That's things, is it a bug? Is it a support request? Is it a feature request? Priority, is it critical? Is it normal? Assigned, if somebody's actually decided to take ownership and said, hey, I'm going to make sure this happens. And then, oh, the status, the last one's the status. Is it active? Does it need review? Do you need more information? There's things like that so you can see the stats. Because if you're following an issue, at a glance you can see, okay, somebody needs to review it, or we need more information about this. So if you're the original creator and somebody says, marks it as needs more information and asks a bunch of questions, you'll get a view and you'll be able to say, oh, it needs more information. I should go in and give it more information because maybe they've got some questions. Am I making sense here? I think I'm jumping around a little bit. But these are some of the added features. And then other than that, you've got a title and a description. You also have two neat things here. You can attach files and you can add tags to stuff. Not only are there categories, but we have free tagging here where we can tag things. There is a tag for Drupal design called Needs Design Review. So there's a list of stuff that's been tagged as Needs Design Review that we want designers and themers to come specifically complain about and talk about and tell us what they think. And then you can attach a file. So if you have an awesome idea for how something should look, and you don't know how to code it, if you upload an image on how it should be, or upload the icon that should be in some place, hey, somebody can go do something with that. They can create it. Because, you know, you'll see a lot of patches and stuff in here, but images and other ways are golden because somebody else, you know, maybe that's not your forte, well, somebody else can't make it look visually good, but they can do the code part. So it's an opportunity for two people to team together and yet still share files around it and keep a history of those files so you can see how something changed. Maybe you came up with a cooler way to do the image, you still have that original history so you can see how things changed in some of the discussion. So it's been created, your issues here, and the next thing you have is you've got a post a comment form once an issue's been created. So we're reviewing the issue. And, you know, in the post a comment form, you can do a comment, you can keep attaching files, and you can change all of the things on it. Is it a different version of Drupal now? Is it a different module than we thought? Is the stat, all the priority, all that stuff can be changed. And it's changed for the whole issue, but anybody going through can do this stuff. So somebody closed it and said, we're not going to fix it. Somebody else can come in and open it and say, well, no, we are. Which can be, you know, some of the issue, but it gives an opportunity to have everybody have an equal voice on this stuff. So if a designer wants to come in and point something out, or a themer wants to come in and say, let's explore this way, the conversation can happen here for everybody to come in and be your 2 cents. You know, and this is really where a lot of the developer stuff happens. It doesn't happen in private little corners of the web, you know, in secret meetings behind closed doors. Some things happen, but some things happen for theming and design that way too, because we don't always talk. But a lot of the stuff happens here. You know, when fields went into core for Drupal 7, that went here. Now that there's a way that in the next version of Drupal, people can delete their accounts from Drupal finally. It was like node number 8. All right, got fixed now in this next release of Drupal. So, I mean, it had hundreds of people responding to it and talking to it over the years. Yeah, it was 7 years to fix that bug.
So how do I actually find these need design review?
There's another one actually.
How do I
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I'll go through this. I guess the second thing is in the community initiatives, if you have commented on an issue, or if you've started one, if you click on My Issues on the right side there, you're going to get a list of the issues that you've commented on or you've created. And not only that, it's going to tell you if it's updated. So you see, I haven't looked in a while. There's a whole bunch there that say they're updated. So I can see if somebody's marked to it. And then, if you go on the right there, you can see this column here is replies. And it's got 2, and it's got 4. It's got the number of people who've actually replied to it. So we give some information. Yeah, people are talking about it. Some of them, the top one there is in double digits. I need to read it. But so it tells you how many people have replied. It tells you the status. Is somebody looking for more information? Is somebody looking for review? At a glance, you can see what's going on. If somebody's agreed to take it on and make it happen, their username shows up right here. So you can, some of this information is here at a glance to track the stuff you've already been involved in, so you don't have to keep doing that. The other thing, and I don't know if I put it later, I must have put it later, but at the top of this whole thing, there's an RSS feed. So if you want to follow it via RSS and see the updates, there's an RSS feed for that. In fact, every one of these search screens that I'm going to walk you through has an RSS feed for that. Okay, so the follow-ups are like forums. And basically, you know how forums have one topic after, you know, the topic calls? Well, that's what you have here. And it doesn't look, I mean, it looks kind of like a Drupal forum. It really does. You'll find that, just so you don't go down rabbit holes, you don't have the nesting of stuff like you do in the Drupal forum, but it kind of flows like a typical forum does. One thing after another. You'll see people have attached files. So here's a file that's been attached. It was actually a patch. Now here's one of the neat things about Drupal. And this is more developer-centric. You're going to see these red lines, these things. Whenever a patch gets submitted to Drupal 7, it actually gets tested. And here's the test results. We have automated testing framework. So it tells if it's any good. So you'll see these, and I don't know that you'll care, unless you're doing patches. But that's what that is. And then other than that, you know, people can attach images, they write their comments, they tell you, you know, what they think. And it really flows like a forum. Yeah, you can attach, I think it's the files and tags, and you can always add tags and remove tags at any point. Needs design review. It's one of the tags. Oh yeah, and once you've created an issue, tell your friends. Tweet it with pound, D for D, so your other designers know. Let people know, share it. If you know somebody who's working on that particular thing, you know, like if it's file system related, you know, I contact Andrew Morton and say, hey, there's this really cool idea, because he's the file system guy. If it's database related, I contact Larry Garfield and say, hey, check this out, find him an IRC. Find somebody in that area, because then you'll get to know the coders who are working on this stuff all the time. And you can build up a rapport with them. You know, there's guys who do a lot of theme side stuff, like John Allen. Build up a rapport with him, get to know him, because if he's writing the code for some of this stuff, you've got an awesome idea, then you have an opportunity to talk to him. He'll take you more seriously than some one-off person, right? Because that's how human interaction works. So, tell your friends. Search. One of the things you're going to see on all of these pages when you go into view issues is advanced search. And in advanced search, you have issue tags, you have versions. So if I just want to know that needs design review, I go to advanced search. In the issues, I say needs design review. I do search, and there's an RSS feed up at the top for my search results. So I can always just see all the ones that are needs design review too. And I can get it in an RSS feed. You could turn it into tweets if you really wanted.
There is a Twitter bot for needs design review. If you follow D4D review, there's a bot that automatically tweets every new issue that has the needs design review tag.
Beautiful. Did we set that up?
Yeah, I set it up like 2.5 months ago. Just a Twitter feed.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
D4D review.
D for
Yeah,
D review.
D review.
I'm going to start following that. But so there's different ways to just follow what's coming out. And if it's got needs design review, that means somebody's specifically asking, when you designers, themers, tell us what you want. But even when we're not asking, us developers, we're asking you to go in there and give your 2 cents. Because we want to hear, and some of the stuff, you're going to look at it and go, this is code, I don't care. And even in some of the stuff, like you could choose component right here, you could just choose the theming system and see all stuff theming system related. And if you see also, and then you can go in and you can see, well, what are they trying to do? Does this look crazy? Maybe I've got a better way to tweak this. Or they put code in this, what? And I can't make sense of it. You know, because being friendly enough for somebody to use the theming side is really important.
I think, you know, to kind of flip the coin on that, I think developers probably need to be encouraged to put the needs design review tag more often, because there's only 13 in the entire queue.
Yeah, they do.
For 7, so I know there's got to be more than 13 things that need design review for 7. So.
Yeah, and there are.
In a way, I don't think that's completely true, because the design queue is really focused around the design itself, and there's other queues for other things, like usability queue. The usability queue is going to be, you know, moving the local menu task to the right-hand side of the page instead of the left-hand side of the page.
So
that's not necessarily design, that's more usability. So there is a usability.
So are you saying that, like, okay, I have like everything selected, all open issues, no matter what priority, everything in 7, and this search only applies to, there's like a different search facility for usability?
There's a different tag.
There is a usability
like needs
tag.
design review. Do you know what the usability tag is?
Needs usability review.
It needs usability review.
Or usability, or there's several. As with
Yeah.
free tagging, you always get several.
Yeah, free tagging.
But
Yeah.
it is an autocomplete field, so just start typing in usability and you'll see all the available options.
Sounds like we need to consolidate those tags. Are they set up as synonyms so that the search is logical?
I have no idea.
I'm
No,
not sure.
you know what? This is Drupal.org. I will answer you. The answer is no.
Synonyms don't quite work that way, unfortunately, but you can open an issue in the webmaster queue to say consolidate these tags, and as long as you're specific, they can use something like term merge and get it done, or just a direct database query or something.
Yeah.
But they know how to do it.
Synonyms don't work that way, though.
Not really. I don't know how they work. I don't know if they work.
I thought they were intended to work that.
No, they don't do anything in Drupal.
That's what I
killed
thought.
myself over that, and
Okay.
but they don't actually do anything out of the box. They're just kind of there. Here are all the different things that you can mark it with. So you can see something's postponed because the maintainer needs more information, or it's to be, you know, it's been reviewed and tested by the community. That means, hey, Angie or Dries, put this into Drupal. That's what that one means. Then there's things like needs review. We need review on it. By design means it's actually intended to be this way. What you're complaining about, we want to be this way. Won't fix. Exactly. We're saying we're just not going to do it. Closed usually pops up automatically. Closed takes fixed issues, things like that, and turns them to closed. So I don't remember what else I had in here. Oh yeah, I was going to say, you know, and you talked about it. If you can't do something and you want it done, throw some money at it. Or find a way that you have a project that just needs it and it can be billed back to a client because you need it for your project. A lot of the coolest stuff in Drupal has come that way. Views has come that way. Earl Miles works for Sony. Okay? He does views and panels and stuff because Sony uses it for their sites. So Sony is really funding this stuff, and he's able to give it back, and it's useful to them. What else I had? Oh yeah, if CBS sucks for you, and you want to get on it right now, I know there's a session here, but there's actually a video cast on how to use CBS for designers and themers.
Yeah, it is now possible for me to actually ask Dr. to see this. I'm doing it like this.
So this is a video cast you can use if you want to know how to use it.
Wait, can I copy that down?
Oh yeah, sorry.
See media.
mustardseedmedia.com/podcast/episode 28.
Yeah, Mom's just killing those podcasts, and he's doing such a great job. It's like.
Yeah, he agreed to do them though after DrupalCon, and then he got so busy with work, he's put out like 2.
Yeah.
People were like, can you put out like 2 a week on the comments if you look
Yeah, and he's been so busy with client work that he hasn't had time. Okay, can I go on? Yeah. All right, cool. We talked about core themes. So yeah, this is actually what Stark looks like right here, by the way. The no design theme, these are the 2 themes in Drupal core. Talked about that before.
Well, you mentioned Stark, I have a question.
Yeah.
My understanding was that Acquia was secondarily funding Mark Bolton to do a theme, but I've heard different stories. Was that intended to be? I heard that it was supposed to be like the administration side theme as an upgrade to Garland, and it was going to be committed to 4/7. And then I've heard no, that wasn't the intent at all. Do you have any idea?
No, he is working on a theme. What does that mean? Contrib core, administrative, front end, good looking. I don't know.
Drupal.
What?
Acquia Drupal.
Yeah, could it be an Acquia Drupal? Yeah. The honest answer, I don't know, but I do know he's working on one. Yeah, we don't want spec work. This was my stuff for creating core themes that we talked about earlier, but remove the color blue, partner. Yeah, if you've got one you want to add in, you just need to create an issue in the Drupal queue, in the themes, and then point Angie or somebody to it, or me, or anybody else who wants to get involved, and we'll do it. Yeah, this is the part that we don't know how it happens. How magic happens when something gets into core. This last line, we don't have a process for it. That's the thing. Okay, so finding the Drupal designers online who can help you with any of this stuff. groups.drupal.org/D4D. D4D on Twitter. The Needs Design Review tag. Here's a short way to get straight to the Needs Design Review tag as well. And then pound Drupal-design in Freenode IRC. It's where designers, themers, and some developers just hang out all day. Well,
And doing absolutely nothing.
It's been a bit quiet lately.
it's been a little bit quiet lately. I think that's because people have had a lot of work, which is a good thing, right?
Especially this year.
Yeah, this has been a busy year. But there's people in there, and if you in IRC, you can see who's in there, so you can actually contact specific people that are in there if they're just not paying attention. Because a lot of people, I just have it open and I sit in there idle. And if somebody hits me up, I'll chat with them for a minute. Because you can be in a lot of IRC rooms without actually being active in the room. Like Pound Drupal, on like a Tuesday afternoon, it'll have like 450 people just sitting in there. So, but this is where you can get help, and you can find people who, if you've got a question, I'd like to do this, and I don't know how to, I don't know where to speak up, I don't know what to do. This is where you can find people who will say, go here. And if somebody beats you up and Pound Drupal and says, no, and you need someone to have your back, you can go here. You can find somebody who will have your back. Instead of going individual, you can bring a gang of people to go fight.
Is there anyone here who has trouble with IRC? Just a good question to ask.
Yeah, do you guys know, does anybody in here not know IRC and needs to know how to be set up?
Because there are
Please speak
applications
up.
to make it very easy.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of IRC.
Okay, well, if you want, we can show you, do you use a Mac? Yeah, I use a Mac. We can show you an easy program that's really, you open it up, it'll just open up all the rooms you
You
want to
can
be
make
in.
it look like this.
Really easy. And it looks like OSX chat rooms type stuff. So,
Ambient, not color.
okay, does anybody have any other, oh, yes.
I was just talking with Jay Batson in the IRC room, and he said they haven't hired Mark to create a new theme. He's independently said that he wants to contribute one back.
Okay,
So it sounds like Mark Bolton is working on a theme, but it's just like he wants to give one to the community after the D7 UX work. So
now I know he just doesn't want to contribute a theme. He wants to look at how can you do a theme different, maybe with some customizable features, kind of like the color module, but different. Now, he didn't know what any of that meant, but he wants to.
It'll add use to the spelling of words like behavior and color. Just kidding.
Behavior.
British spelling.
So he wants to, and again, and you know what, he may not even have started on it yet and just knows he wants to do it because he's caught up with, a lot of paperwork right now for Acquia. Anybody got any questions? Because I kind of jumped around a little bit. Anything that you want to know on how to get involved or?
I was going to say, you should put these up on our site so people can
Yeah.
get, because there's a lot of information. Are they already up? If not, you should.
No, yeah, that'll all go up, yeah. TreehouseAgency.com, the slides will be up there. They'll probably also show up on the Drupal Planet. You guys know what the Drupal Planet is? Does anybody not know what the Drupal Planet is? Okay, just in case. No, good question. If you go to drupal.org/planet, there's a blog roll of Drupal people. We would like more designers and themers to be on the blog roll, but if you go there, there's probably somewhere between like 3 and 10 new posts each day from people in the Drupal community who said, here's something Drupal related, maybe a site idea, maybe something I'm working on, maybe a cool idea, maybe something that would look neat in Drupal. All kind, news, stuff about camps, just stuff that's going on. It's about 3 to 10 new posts a day, depending on the day. But it's a way to do that. So if you guys have a design blog and you blog about Drupal stuff on occasion, get your feed added to it. Or just the Drupal stuff. Add a tag and just get the Drupal stuff. And it gets pulled in there. And it's a way to see what other people are doing and what's going on. So a lot of, after a camp, you'll see, like the Monday or Tuesday after a camp, you'll see a lot more traffic because everybody will blog their slides. Or if there's a video presentation, they'll point to where that is. Any other questions? Then I'm out.
Tell your
IRC
name.
Oh, my IRC name, if you want to get a hold of me, is MFer, M-F-E-R. And my initials are MF, which is actually where that comes from.